Oh, so good to have y'all back in the bus with us this weekend. Hope you're doing good out there. In the house, Mr. Koe Wetzel.
Hey,
Man, thank you
hey.
so much for making time. I know you are
Oh,
a
man.
busy, busy man.
I've been busy, more busy than I've ever been before. But I said, hey, Tracy, I want you to come and get on the podcast. I was like, well, hold everything. We're going to that. I said,
That's awesome, man. I've been
so,
looking forward to visiting with you, man.
yeah,
You've
man,
you've uh,
I appreciate
you've
it.
kind of exploded onto the scene, man. You've had a
Yeah.
couple of really good years, hadn't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's been it's been a lot of fun, man. We've been on the road for a while, so we people are starting to catch on a little bit, but it's been great, man.
Who all you been out with the last 2 years?
Uh, Pretty much ourselves. I mean, we've been doing everything kind of on our own. We've Jelly Roll was one of them. We did some stuff with him last year. Me and Hardy
Yeah.
did an acoustic tour a couple years back. But other than that, man, we just kind of been doing our own thing and having our Texas friends come along with us. So it's been fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. How many shows you do in a year?
This year we're not doing as many. I think we did. We took a lot of time off because we were making the record at the first 2 years. So we were doing mostly festivals through the first end of the year, and we still got. I think we're doing like a little over 20 festivals. We got a couple more left,
Yeah.
and then we'll start tour next couple weeks, mid July. That'll go through mid November. I think we have around a little over 70, and so it's. I mean, usually we're doing close to 200 a year. So this has been a kind of off year for us. So we don't know. I don't know how to handle that shit. To be honest with you. So
Yeah, I remember doing over 200. I don't like doing that many.
no.
Yeah, that cuts into your quality of life.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
well,
Yeah.
unless it's just all eat, breathe, and sleep music
Yeah,
business.
for sure. It's yeah, being on the road. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love being out and traveling and meeting new people and all that. But at the same time, it's still good to have a couple days off. We were just talking about the vocal deals and
Oh
everything,
yeah,
man. Whenever you're running 4 shows a week, 4 or 5 shows a week, and traveling in between the days, shit'll get to you. So,
yeah. Especially the climate changes and being on the bus with a
hmm
recirculated air and flying. And flying kills me too. And
yeah.
going out west in the dry part of the country, you get in that desert, it kills me.
Yeah, we'll go. I think this year already we did Florida, and then we did Montana, and then we came back, and it was just like elevation to sea level, and then out
Oh
in
yeah.
the dusty ass shit, and then it was just
And now it's
man.
just about to get worse too,
Yeah.
especially
Oh
if you're
yeah.
down playing like from Austin down through Amarillo and Lubbock
Yeah.
and all. It's freaking
Oh yeah.
miserable. Yeah,
Absolutely. All that
the
dust and
mud and dust
humidity.
tour.
You fucking bet.
Shit, yeah, man. So, where are you from originally?
So I grew up in Pittsburgh, Texas. It's like northeast Texas, Longview, Tyler area.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not far from. I'm originally from Atlanta.
Oh no
So, and I
shit.
grew up on the other side of Texas County. My mom remarried when I was young, and I grew up in a little town called Foreman that borders
Yeah.
right. The Texas line is bordered by the Red River, and then Oklahoma runs down.
Yeah.
41 run you right up Oklahoma all the way up to
Yeah.
Fayetteville, Fort Smith.
Yeah. Atlanta. They were in our district in high school. We played in
Oh
Atlanta
yeah.
all the time, dude.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time down there running
Mhm.
that area. Texas County, man, we had great rodeos back there too, man.
Hell
All
yeah.
those rodeos pushed you all the way into Four States Fair and
Mm-hmm.
rodeo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in part of that whole culture for a long time, man. But that's
Mhm.
a great place to grow up at,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I lived in Louisiana for a while in the north part of the state and worked all those clubs and through there.
Mm-hmm.
And what's Longview? What's that club that used to have the VIP room right in the middle of it?
What was
Uh,
it? Wasn't
the
Cowboys, was it?
No, it wasn't the Cowboys. It was a Long Branch I can't remember what it was. But I remember my first big artist that I met was Joe Stampley, and I was friends with his daughter when I was in school. And he was the first act that I knew that was a national act. Let me get on stage and sing with him,
Yeah.
and I remember singing in those old places, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of the venues that were coming up that aren't around anymore. It
Yeah,
was kind of weird whenever we were coming up. The scene there wasn't really hardly a scene. I feel like my folks they talk about it all the time. There used to be a huge music scene out there, and then it just kind of for some reason
well,
just kind of
casinos
started
kind of
going.
took it over, I think,
Yeah,
because there used to be things like the Oil Palace and
yeah, Old
all
Palace.
the Cowboys chains that were all around Dallas and Arlington and stuff down to San Antonio. Of course, Billy Bob
Yeah,
has always been there,
yeah,
but Shreveport had a pretty cool club
yeah.
scene. But it seems like clubs kind of there's not as many of them left as there used to be.
I don't know what the deal is with it, but
DUIs.
yeah, but
People
honestly,
want to go to a casino where they can get a room,
for
man.
real. Oh shit, man. But yeah, Shreveport. Everybody's. I mean, that's the place to go, man. gamble, go to the boats.
That's it, man.
Hammer down.
Get to the hotel and Uber wherever you need to go.
For sure.
Yeah, we've all kind of learned our lesson from all
Absolutely.
that. Justin Timberlake didn't. You see where he just got popped?
Uh-uh.
He got one last night.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, if I was Justin Timberlake, I wouldn't be fucking driving anywhere.
Hell no, I wouldn't be doing anything. Drive me.
Yeah, for real.
Come on, Jessica, get up here.
I swear.
Oh man, what were some of your musical influences when you were growing up, man?
So growing up with my mom, whenever she was, whenever I was in the car with her, it was always '90s music. Of course, you, man, I wanted to plug you in there a little bit. But '90s country, older country, George Jones, Ronnie Millsap, people like that. And then whenever I was in the car with my dad, I was always rap and hip hop and old classic rock, CCR and shit like that. So I had all kinds of musical backgrounds growing up and listening to all different genres.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's kind of put my music where it is, and the sound that we're kind of making, just kind of blending all those together. So.
That seems to have the ability to reach a huge crossover audience for a lot of young guys that are coming in. And do you think it affects your ability to get radio? I respect so much what Hardy does, man, because I've listened through his records, and he's pushing the envelope all the freaking time.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's a lot of it that he knows going in, they ain't never gonna play.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think we have so many tools out there now, and obviously you're using all of them to your advantage. Yeah. Y'all focus a lot on social media to get that brand out there, don't they?
Well, I think nowadays it's not as you don't need radio as bad as you used to. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, and not talking bad about radio at all, but it's just the way social media is now, the way everything's going with TikTok and all these other ways that people can promote their music. It's not as important to have radio. But with us, they would never play our shit anyway, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, I think having that sound and having that kind of genre and blending all those, it kind of defeated us having a little bit of radio play because nobody knew where to put us. We didn't know where to put it on rock radio or put it on country radio or whatever it was. So.
Well, Jelly Roll's kind of broke through too, man.
For sure.
It doesn't. I mean, it could happen at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what have you had that's gone viral music wise?
Oh,
and I asked that with a follow-up question.
So. Yeah, well, we had last record. We had Creeps. I think it got up pretty high on Billboard, but I mean, like I said, we never really had radio promotion, and now with this new record coming out, we've had Sweet Dreams. It's got I think it debuted at like 47 on Billboard, and just recently had High Road debut at 27. Got that yesterday on Hot 100 Billboard charts. So. But I mean, all the other stuff is just kind of underground music that the fans have chosen as their anthems and their songs. So.
I struggle with it too because the era that I came from was, you get a record on the charts. Once you chart, you kind of get to go through that progression, and you get that feeling in the 40s, and then when you hit top 20, it kind of elevates a little bit, and you hit top 10, it picks up a little bit where they're getting more intense and they're singing back to you. Top 5, of course, when you peak out at number 1, the longer it stays there, the more intensity comes. With things when you're working social media, I don't know how to gauge all of it, because I find things that I like. I try to keep mixing stuff in, but you got all this body of work that you're slinging out there all the time. Which things do you leave in your show? How do you make those decisions? Is it just a feel thing for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of, with this whole record, and we kind of teased all the songs. So we threw out little bitty samples of them, and then I'm not a big social media guy. I got my Instagram. I post my pictures and shit. That's
you ain't posting 10 times a day.
No, hell no. And I've got people that run my own TikTok and everything else. And when I get drunk, sometimes I'll get on Twitter and tweet some dumb shit out. But other than that, man, I'm not big on social media. So I've got people at Columbia and my record label, they check the algorithms every day and all that shit and try to tell me about it. And I'm like, hey.
And they're probably pushing you. You really need to post more stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I ain't doing it. Why don't you do this and that? I'm like, why don't I not? Why not?
It's such a ball and chain. Yeah, I know people that are doing it like multiple times a day. I can't function like it. I didn't grow up with it. I'm not comfortable with it.
Well, I think the fans see that too. Like if they're getting fed the same shit, over and over and over, it's kind of like, this is this is wearing me out, you know. So I like to we like to tease people, you know, giving them just little snippets and little bitty shit to chew on, and making them kind of want more and more, and that's how I go about it. And it's helped out, I guess. But
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody's got their own structure. How do you structure your shows, man? Do you come out and do you light them up for the first two, three songs?
oh
I mean,
yeah, oh yeah,
yeah, everybody's
we
got their own way of doing
oh we
things.
hit them right in the mouth, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we the shows wise, we first two or three that we know that they're going to be irate to, we hit them right in the mouth with it, and then we'll kind of slow it down, bring it back up, and then we'll have about two or three of our slower songs in the middle of the set, and then light it back up the rest of the time, dude.
Just bang, bang, bang,
Bang, bang,
man.
bang.
You gotta love it, man. When you were a kid and you were dreaming about this, what was your dream? What did you visualize when you closed your eyes at night and you were dreaming about this stuff?
So I had a little hummingbird guitar, and it wasn't a Gibson. It was just a little shitty hummingbird nylon guitar that my dad had growing up, and it had maybe three or four strings on it. And I remember just being in my underwear, you know, and my room was about maybe the size of half of this right here. And I just remember being on the bed and looking over and strumming it, and it just being a sea full of people, you know. And now I look out in the crowd, and that's kind of how it is. And it's, I don't know, it kind of came full circle, you know. It's really cool to see where it was back then, because I still have those memories, you know, burned into my brain. And now getting out there and seeing it
Did you ever visualize yourself on stage with the crowd, or was it about being on the bus? Did you see yourself on the marquee? I mean, what was
Yeah,
that?
it was just always being on stage, and I feel like that's where I live and die. Like, you know, I love being on stage. I love entertaining people, like people making people smile, you know, and seeing people out there that are screaming my lyrics back to me and shit like that. Man, it's a good feeling, you know. And
It is, man, but it's very addictive. And after years of doing
100%.
it, that was the hardest thing for me during COVID was getting off that treadmill because I've never stopped in
Yeah,
30 something
yeah.
years. So how did you cope with all that?
Man, it's just kind of and whenever we do get time off, you know, I try to go see the family as much as possible. You know, just try to ease up and not. Whenever we get off the road, that's it. Whenever we're off the road, I'm out riding or unless I'm doing something like that, then I'm golfing or I'm fishing or I'm hunting. I'm doing pretty much everything besides music. Somebody starts talking about music, and it's just something for me. You know, whenever I get off the road. I'll come. I know it's going to be there in a couple weeks or the
It
next
ain't going nowhere.
weekend. So yeah, it ain't going nowhere. So I mean, for me, it's just trying to just find that way to just to block it out and just live a normal life, you know. So
Shit, if you're doing 200 plus days a year, I mean, I'm glad to hear
yeah,
you slowing down a liting bit. You gotta
yeah,
find
yeah. We
balance
we
and all
slowing
that.
down a little bit now, but yeah, back then,
As
whenever
Willie, he'll tell you.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say, dude. Like, how is it, but but no, yeah, just finding different ways, kind of just ease up and not really. I mean, finding ways to take the cape off, you know, whenever you get done.
That's a good way to analyze it. I mean, but you do have to kind of step out of all of it, man, because it
Yeah,
gets, and the longer you do it, the heavier it gets on you
yeah,
too. You gotta you
absolutely,
gotta back out and find time.
absolutely.
You married? You got kids?
Nah, I'm not married. Kids, I don't know. Maybe a couple of them out there. They ain't come to me yet. They wait a couple more. Maybe wait till they're 18 before they say what's up. But
Yeah, don't
no,
do no
yeah,
ancestry.com or 23andMe yet.
for real.
Nice.
Oh man, after this podcast, might have a couple kids show up. Hey, what's up, pops? Like,
What's up,
no,
Dad?
you don't look like me. Get on somewhere.
What's one of your favorite cities you've been to?
Oh man,
I know that's a hard that people ask me that it's a hard thing to nail down, man. There's so many great venues, and so many of them look the
yeah,
same too. It's really hard to.
yeah. Man, I honestly I love Denver, Colorado. Denver's really great. Um, and Norfolk, Virginia. Have you ever been in Norfolk, Virginia?
Yeah, but I don't remember anything about
I
it.
don't either, but
I don't think I did
I
the
remember the
tour.
venue and Norfolk's a lot of fun, man. And there's so many. Whenever I leave here, I'll probably look back like, damn, because there's like you said, we go to so many cities, we meet so many people, you know, and it's I don't know, man. There's Fort Worth will always be. I live just right outside of Fort Worth now, so
Yeah.
Fort Worth will always probably be number one in my heart.
I
So,
love Fort Worth,
dude,
man.
it's so good.
Billy Bob still has such a great
Yeah,
charm to it in downtown. I mean,
yeah.
just all that stuff
The
down
whole
there.
atmosphere of it,
Every
man.
bit of
It's
it's really
great.
cool, man. It's just a
Sure.
great city. Still is. Dallas is a little overwhelming at times. I spend a lot of time there too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not the biggest. I mean, don't get me wrong. Nothing against Dallas, but it's just not
It ain't
not for
Fort
me.
Worth.
Nah, it ain't Fort Worth. Hell no.
So, what's a normal show day for you like?
Usually wake up. Um, depending on the night before. If it was a rough night, then I would probably go to sleep till about lunch. But if not, get up, go play some golf. Get back around 1 or 2, and hit sound check. Come back, take a little nap or chill
That's
out.
That's a good
basically it.
normal road day.
Yeah, got to get a little nap in.
Yeah.
And then I like to go out and eat dinner. I mean, nothing against the catering or anything. I mean, we finally got catering and all that stuff. But I like to get away from the venue for a little bit before the show, and go out and eat a good steak, or eat something, have a couple drinks, and just relax, and
Yeah.
then come back and then let the chaos
Do you,
commence.
do you get recognized a lot when you go out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good though. I mean, I'd rather have that and have all the fans, come up and ask for the pictures and stuff than not have any at all and nobody show up to the show.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I'm,
man.
I'm very blessed to be able to be doing what I'm doing and to have the fan base that I do.
Do you have a place, an apartment or something here in town when you come?
I don't. I've been staying just in hotels around here, man.
Just try to stay out here as much as you can. There's
Yeah.
two schools of thumb, man. I've always felt like I needed to be here, but you got guys like Bird and Chestnut and Straight and a lot of guys that have just never lived here. They
Yeah.
come in town, do what they need to do, and then they get out.
I don't. I've been asked that a couple of times. I don't think I'll ever have a place here because I mean, whenever I've said this multiple times as well. Nashville is starting to become a Vegas for me.
Big time.
It's like
3 days and I'm out.
2 or 3 days, and then I got to get the fuck out. So
Yep.
but every time I come, but it's just every time I'm here, you got friends you hadn't seen in a while, you got this, you got that, and there's something that's going on every single night and
Oh, yeah.
every day. So whenever you go out, it's like, all right,
I'm just gonna go out and have a couple of drinks.
couple beers, couple drinks,
Never
and
happens.
then after that, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, holy shit,
I got to get up at 7:30.
Yeah, I got to go ride or I got to go do this or that.
But
like,
it's hard
damn.
not to indulge in it. It's just
I
right
know.
there.
That's what I'm saying, and it's with people you hadn't seen in a while, and it's
And
so
people you
easy.
would like to see
Yeah,
again.
absolutely. It's like, oh, my hotel's only 5 minutes away. Oh, we're good. And then you look up, and it's. But I love Nashville, but I'm Texas through and through. I'll stay there.
I understand completely, man. We still have a place down in the Gulf outside of Galveston. My wife's from Beaumont, so we
Nice.
spend a lot of time down
Yeah.
in Texas, man. There's just something about the water down
I know
there.
it,
It's
man.
just
I got
it's got
something
its
in the
own-
water,
It's
man.
just well, you think about all the music that came out of there. If you work up from the coast, you got George Jones and Janis Joplin, Tracy Byrd and Mark Chestnut, and even down in Louisiana, you got Kershaw. And then as you come up into East Texas, I mean, wasn't Gary Stewart from East Texas? I mean, the list
Here's
is
Ray Price.
Ray Price from Mount Pleasant. I mean, just there's so much music in that area, all around that part of the country. It had such a huge impact on the music business.
is.
If it wasn't for Texas, I wouldn't have a career. I
No.
swear they broke me. I mean, I worked every skull orchard down there
Hell yeah.
and had a good time doing all of
Yeah,
it.
for sure. Texas is a great time.
Yeah, it was. You remember a lot of them small venues, man. You're playing the big stuff now. But you ever miss them?
Oh, almost not saying every show, but it's just a different feel. We've been playing arenas for the last 2 years, and it's the coming up from we cut our teeth in 100 people bars, and stuff like that. And there might not be anybody but the old drunk over there that comes in there every night, and he's telling us to shut the fuck up, stop playing, And so it's kind of stuff like that. We played Vegas for the Huey party, Brooklyn Bowl, and I think it was like around 2,000 people, 2,000 cap room. But the atmosphere was everybody was right on top of you, people above you, and it kind of took us back to it. And I was like, damn, I miss this.
Just makes you want some old
Hell
old PV wages just to crank them up as loud as you can get them, just to go home with a splitting freaking headache.
And the energy is it's unmatched, man. The energy is right there in your face. You got it eating out of the palm of your hand.
Yeah, and you can feel it when it's swirling around.
Yes,
I love all that stuff. Yeah. And that's one of the things you miss about getting in bigger venues. You just don't have all that energy up on top of you.
Yes,
and then you get in the in ears, and then you just get kind of separated, and
Sure.
it's a big adjustment, man.
I know it, man, but we're glad to be like I said earlier, man. I'd rather it be that way than nothing at all. So,
Shoot, yeah, man. I saw where Straight just had the record attendance
yeah,
at Texas A&M at College Station. That was
yeah. I
pretty
was
freaking awesome, man.
my boy Parker McCullum opened up that show, and it was his
Yeah.
birthday, and I talked to him a while ago, and I was just, telling him happy birthday and how was the show. And he said, I walked up to George. I said, you know what? For 30 minutes before you got on stage, I had the most attendance record. But I'll give it to you now. So I was like,
Well,
that's
tell
pretty
Parker I
good.
said I haven't met him
I
yet, and
will. I
I'd
will.
love to
I'll
meet him. We've
do
been
it,
trying to
man.
get him on the
Yeah,
podcast. I'm a
absolutely.
big fan. He's doing really
Yeah,
well, man. That's
yeah.
cool.
He's wearing it out, dude. Man, everything he's got, he's worked his ass off for, and he deserves every bit of it, man.
Did y'all know each other before the music business at all?
Yeah, not before the music. I mean, we come up together in Texas kind of around the same time. He was already kind of blowing up in Texas, and then I had a tour manager, or I had a best friend that I was sleeping on his couch, and he was tour managing for Parker, and so that's how we got connected. And he came and got on a song with me, "Love," and then I went around, opened up a couple shows for him, and then it's just kind of how that whole deal. I mean, that was 2016, 17, around
Yeah.
that time, and then it just kind of he came up to here. He came up to Nashville for I guess a couple years. I think he lived here 2 or 3 years, and then now he's back in Texas. But yeah, man, he's been wearing it out,
He
man.
really has been. Did you get into the Texas music scene at all? Randy Rogers and some of those guys,
Oh yeah,
Kevin
that's
Fowler. I mean, I've
yeah
kind
for
of
sure. So again in high school, it's kind of that was my go-to, the Texas music scene, the Red Dirt scene, all
yeah.
across Canadians, Stoney LaRue, um, Randy Wade, Stoney, um, I don't know, just all those cats, man. Josh Abbott. Um, and so in high school, that's what I wanted to be, Texas music,
Yeah.
That was, and then I don't know, it's just I think you kind of get to a point in Texas, you're like, well, you want to show the rest of the world the music, and um, I don't know, it just kind of happened the way it did.
But Texas is such a great place because you have such a huge, vast amount of nightclubs and small
Yeah,
bars and stuff.
absolutely.
It's a great place to cut your teeth as a young
Yeah,
kid coming up, wanting
for
to play
sure.
clubs and wanting to play music. I think it's a better path to go down than American Idol.
Yeah,
But and I've had a bunch of TikTok kids on here too,
yeah,
and no disrespect to none of them, I'm proud for a lot of success. But it teaches you how to structure a show, teaches you how to work a crowd.
yeah,
You're gonna
absolutely.
fall on your face a few times. You're gonna
Yeah,
have bad nights,
yeah,
and it teaches you how to deal with all that.
yeah,
And there's nothing like doing it over and over and over and
yeah,
over and over and
absolutely.
over and over until you really find what really works for you. I mean, there's
Hmm.
no substitute for that, I don't
Yeah,
think.
and that's what we always say. Coming up in Texas, it's kind of a deal to go through and do that the way you said.
Oh yeah.
Travel your ass off, work the road. Have those 4 or 5 years whether you don't know if you're going to make it or not.
If you
But
got gas enough to get to
yeah,
the next town.
exactly. And then getting done with 4 shows after a weekend and splitting $100 between four or five of you.
If the bar tab didn't get it all.
Absolutely, but that's how I feel like that's how Texas music is, and that's how it's kind of expected, And once you paid your dues and you've cut your teeth like that, then that's whenever everything else kind of comes along, and we're super blessed to have been able to come up that way.
I think so.
I would have rather it. Like you said earlier, I wouldn't have changed a thing. I'd do it all over again. And I'd do it even harder, to be honest with you, because I mean that's who made us who we are today, and so yeah, shout out Texas, baby.
Absolutely, baby.
So
As you're going through all this whole growth process, any European plans? Y'all been overseas and stuff yet?
yeah, yeah, we're finishing out the tour over in Europe. I think we're doing 13 or 14 shows.
You know where are you going?
Man, it's all over the place. Doing like Cologne, we're doing Germany and Norway.
Freaking beer in Germany,
Yeah,
dude.
that's
Drinking
what I
beer,
keep hearing.
beer in Germany. So they're not. It's not pasteurized and stuff like it over here.
Yeah,
It's here. So every little area, every little city has its own breweries and stuff.
yeah,
So it's different, and you drink it there. It's like drinking a loaf of bread, man. It's just like thick, but it's like 12% alcohol,
yeah.
and you drink two of those, and you're
Like,
full and
oh,
you're
I'm gonna
stoned.
hammer them
But
down.
the next town you go to, it's different because they're not packaged up like Bud
Yeah,
Light where they're shipping them all over the
yeah,
freaking place. It's like this town's got its thing, this town's got its
mm,
thing, but
yeah.
it's freaking awesome, man.
We did acoustic deal over there like back in 2017 or 18, but we just stuck around London and that area over there, and them some bitches can drink over there, dude.
Shit, yeah.
It's like they just get done with work, go to their favorite pub, and drink till close, and then go back to work and do it all over again. And dude, we were over there trying to drink with them, and that was some rough couple shows there.
I heard it's worse in Ireland. I'm Irish. I haven't been to Ireland yet.
Oh,
It's on my
really?
list. But let me tell you about Italy. I
Yeah.
drink wine all day. I mean,
Yeah.
kids, there's no drinking age over
Yeah.
there in Ireland.
Oh,
You can just-
everybody, yeah. So
I mean,
they
if you're
growing
12
up-
years old, there's wine on the table. Get you a glass of wine. It's fine. They start drinking. And at 2 o'clock, everything closing down. They're taking a nap at 2 o'clock. You're not going to get into a restaurant. Everything shuts down for about 2 hours every day.
They just relax.
They just chill.
I need to go to Italy then.
You love Italy. I'm telling you. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, any place where there's good alcohol.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Where there's a good time, you find me.
Amen, brother. What you drink of choice? I know you sipping on a little whiskey.
Honestly, this is the first little bit of whiskey I've had in a while. I've been on a tequila kick here lately. Been trying to watch my figure a little bit. Like I said, I'm getting a little older, so trying to get a little bit more healthier.
Get back to your linebacker weight.
Yeah, getting back to my linebacker weight. But no, I've been on a tequila kick.
What's your tequila of choice?
I've been drinking Casamigos.
Got some of that in the freezer.
Dude, that's my shit.
Got the gold and the silver.
That and some Lalo. I don't know if you heard of the Lalo. It's kind of a newer tequila, I think, but it's great. I have been drinking it in 1942, but you can't hardly afford that shit. It's so damn high. And damn Don Julio.
I still like plain old Patron too. Patron Silver, man. As long as it's in the freezer, I don't like drinking it, but I keep it in the freezer.
There you go. If it's cold and I have salt and lime, I can drink some Patron. But other than that,
Yeah, but then I go back to when we were drinking in high school. Yeah, Cuervo. Yeah, that Cuervo goat. Oh man, just
Make
some
my
of
mouth water
just
just
some of the
hearing
stuff we
that.
drank back then. It's like God, the cheapest. I remember being in school, man, and you could get Skoal vodka, a half gallon in a plastic jug, and when you got through drinking, you could beat each over the head with it.
That and McCormick's vodka. I think it was like $7 for that
just freaking
big ass
awful.
plastic deal.
And just hurt like hell the next day. But y'all probably had bonfires like we did back
yeah,
home. I
for
mean, that
sure.
was the whole thing.
For
We
sure.
had about 4 places that we went. We had 2 gravel pits. We had the rice field. We had the Catholic cemetery, which was always a hot spot. What was y'all's places you hung out at?
Man, we had this place called the Boneyard. My buddy, it was just a dead end oil road, and you could pack. I don't know how many cars you could pack down there, but it was by the lake, and it was just dead end dirt road. You get down there, and somebody throw a fire together, and it'd just be full on.
God, I miss those times,
I
man.
know.
Those were great
It's a lot
days,
of good
man.
times, man.
Oh man, just all
And,
the
and
friends.
if I'd have known now what I knew then, brother,
Yeah.
oh man,
The damage you would have done.
oh, I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you.
Man, I have so many great memories of all that. But my kids have grown up here. Where we live, you're not gonna find a gravel road anywhere
Yeah,
around here.
for sure.
You could get on a gravel road back home. I could drive around multiple counties most of the time with barely doing anything but crossing a paved road.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go for hours, knew everywhere around the whole area, man. But when you're a kid, man, you live in your car. That's what we did. And the music was always cranked up.
Yeah, well, that's back road was all we had a game called the Critter game and all that shit. We get you go for miles and miles and never touch a highway.
So tell me about the critter game. What is that?
So the critter, you and your buddies, you get some girls in the car and you drive around and everybody, you see a coon or whatever it was cross the road, whoever hit the car last. If it was a boy,
Pop the ceiling,
pop the ceiling.
yeah.
And if it was a girl that hit it first, and boys had to take off a piece of clothing. And if a girl or if a boy did it, vice versa.
Now that's entertainment.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we be seeing shit that wasn't even crossing the road. We'd be hitting it, but no man, it was a great game, man. We had a lot of
deck
fun.
was
with
stacked
it.
for sure.
I'm telling you. Oh man, it was a lot of fun.
But growing up in the country was special, man. I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world, man.
absolutely not,
Still
man.
great friends back home, man. We had the best times, but started drinking way too young.
Yeah, for sure.
That's part of the culture.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Let's-
But it was always, I feel like it was always around. It was under grandparents, sink or wherever it was. You just sneak a little here, sneak a little there.
Put a little back in the bottle.
Yeah, for real. Pour a little bit of water in there.
Well, we lived right on the Oklahoma line. Southwest Arkansas, where I grew up, was a dry county,
Yeah.
but 7 minutes away.
Well, it was-
And if you had money, they would sell it to you at
Hell
12. They
yeah.
didn't care back then. Oklahoma was a whole different place,
Yeah, that's a
especially
whole
that
different
little
ballgame.
rural area. But it was like 3.2. We didn't even have real beer.
Well,
It was that.
they didn't swap to 5.0 for a while.
Yeah,
Did
it was like way low alcohol
Yeah.
content because the Native Americans up there don't metabolize alcohol
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
and there was a lot of fights.
Hell, I remember. I mean, I must have been in high school because we went to a baseball tournament and it was either in Kansas or somewhere, and they didn't have the 5.0 yet, and so we got up there, and I'm probably, I don't know, sophomore, junior in high school, and I'm drinking this 3.2 beer, and hell, I've drank like 15 beers, and I'm like, oh, everyone's like, hell yeah, Koe, you're a monster. I was like, yeah. And then you
I
get to
don't feel
look at it,
that.
I'm like,
This is
oh, this
bullshit.
is fucking water. You know, I get back to Texas, I have 5 or 6, like, I'm drunk, bro. Like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
good times.
It absolutely.
Yeah, I was just wondering about when you were a teenager or in your 20s, about did you see any cool concerts or shows that impacted you and you thought were cool and you maybe use today?
Yeah, so whenever I went to school, and I went to school at Tarleton State in Stephenville, and in college, you know, it was kind of a music hub, pretty much. I mean, we had a lot of big Texas bands that would always come through every weekend, and you know, seeing Turnpike Troubadours whenever they were first coming up, and you know, 1,000 Cap Room, and Randy Rogers and Wade Bowen and all those cats, man. It was just no matter what day of week it was, there was always music coming up. So, getting to see a lot of the bigger bands now, you know, come up in Texas, and even, you know, some of the Nashville acts back then that had come in and just probably needed to make a quick, you know, a couple grand and just stop through and play some shows. So seeing shows like that, it was always a lot of fun, man. So, yeah, I ain't got any wild, crazy stories. I'm sure I do, but like you said earlier, I don't remember them.
I got another question, if you don't mind. You mentioned Ronnie Millsap earlier, and that was a stranger in my house. And
Yeah,
you were
that
telling
was
me
my
it was,
favorite song I have.
yeah, I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
do you do covers in your show, and how do you pick those?
We try to do like one or two. We've with the new record, and we're always putting out new music. We try to, you know, throw it in as much as possible. But you know, you got to give the fans what they want. So we throw in a cover like that. It's always a good time. We did a Toby Keith, the Should Have Been a Cowboy, for the festivals this year. Rest in peace. And so it was cool. I mean, it was like the whole crowd would erupt whenever we would sing it. So it was a lot of fun to throw in songs like that, you know, and to do stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to know Toby?
I never did, man.
He was a good dude, man.
That's
My
what I
friend
heard.
for a long time.
I know,
We toured together, spent a lot of time together over the years. He was a good cat.
Yeah, man. He was my grandma's favorite artist in the world, and same with me. I mean, I love everything about him, and you know, I kind of sad I never got to meet him, or I never even got to see him live. So, but yeah, it was, I don't know.
Yeah, we had some good times. He kept my ass from getting beat up a couple times because I was usually like a little rooster strutting around, mouthing off at people, and he's kept some security guards at the what used to be Starwood over there from getting all over me one night. He was standing behind me. Everybody was telling me about it after the fact. They were fixing to throw me out, and he's like, mm. He just stood behind me, shook his head. I didn't even know it. I was too drunk.
Awesome.
We had some good times, man. Yeah, everybody said, "Won't you write a book?" I said, "Shit, I can't write a book. I gotta wait for a few more people to die."
For real. We're not doing any tell-alls. All right? No tell-alls.
No, there's a lot of things I'll be taking to my grave.
For real.
Yeah, that's the code of the music business, man.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a good bus story that won't incriminate nobody.
Oh man. See,
Yeah,
that's the problem. The
yeah.
incriminating part is the problem.
Mhm.
Man, let's see here. You know what? I need to start writing all these down because
then that's incriminating.
I know, but I just need to just a little bit of thought just to remind me of them, because I always get asked these kind of questions and I can never come up with good ones until after I leave.
Yeah, I try. Yeah, there's a lot of things I can.
Throw one of your bus pranks at him, and he'll come up with something.
So get bus prank. Oh,
yeah.
Tracy Bird still owes me because I pissed him off so bad. We were finishing up a tour at the late '90s, a TNT tour, and it was our last show, and we'd swapped headliners. So this day I was closing the show, so I had ping pong balls and baskets above, all the typical stuff. We had pies and stuff. We had flats, eggs, all that stuff. When he got back to the bus, I'd got the code to his bus, and I sent my guys out to every bait store in town, and we got over 1,000 crickets. I strode crickets from back to front all over that bus. Them some bitches was everywhere. He was so mad.
Like
They never could get them all out. They literally had to take them to a grocery store parking lot in the middle of the summer and turn the heat on high for 3 days. They were down in the walls. He said, "You'd lay down," and they go, "Eek." They'd start chasing. He was so mad at me. Oh, he still hadn't got me back, and I'm gonna see him. I'm gonna see him this weekend. I always do not.
Was that recently?
No, that was late '90s. It's been a while.
Okay.
Yeah, Bird don't drink anymore.
Yeah,
he's kind of slowed down.
I've got to meet Tracy a couple times. Man. I've always enjoyed getting to hang around him. Man.
I love good bus pranks. I put little baby pigs in the back of Chesney's bus one time. Oh yeah, and he was on stage, and I had all the girls from the agri department. They brought me about 9 crates of chickens, and they the girls would come up and give you roses.
Yeah,
he was up there doing it as long as they were bringing chickens up to him.
He's probably like, what the?
And they were roosting on the drum riser. They were all over the stage. It was awesome.
That's awesome. That is wild. Yeah, man. I don't know.
People need to get back to doing pranks, man.
Yeah, I know it, man.
Step it up now.
I feel like it's kind of like a lost art these days. Like
everybody's too sensitive.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Everybody's got phones and shit too. Like, look what this asshole did.
Yeah.
But no.
But it's funny.
It is. Yeah, it's good. For sure. And when you're on the road, you need to find shit to keep you occupied,
Absolutely.
I mean?
You got to break the monotony, man.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Well, if I can give you any ideas.
I promise you, I'm gonna hit you up whenever we get back on the road.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let me know what I need to do to piss somebody off today.
Yeah, just try to push the envelope a little. It's healthy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Even if it's
Everybody
just a
needs a good
food fight
giggle.
and catering.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just to really piss the venue off.
You're never coming back here again. That's okay.
I mean, I've heard all these stories about like Joe Walsh with a chainsaw in the flight case.
Yeah.
You've heard all those too. Yeah, they didn't give him an adjoining room, so he just cut a hole in the wall. Oh yeah.
That's
See,
wild.
I don't think you'd get away with that now.
No, like the Motley Crue era too.
Oh,
they were.
Did you see the dirt?
Yeah. So I read the book before I watched the movie. I like the book a lot more, but
Yeah, they always do better than the book.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, they were out there. They were crazy as hell, man.
Yeah.
But,
Yes, yeah. I got to spend a lot of time with George Jones early on, and I know a lot of those stories of Jones. There's no way anybody could get away with what Jones did.
that's wild. It's just a different day and age,
Yeah.
man. You can't do half that shit anymore.
But he just embraced it.
Yeah.
But I got to know him after he quit drinking, and he was like a cool old grandfather. Man,
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time
That's
with
awesome.
him. But man, I've heard stories. My favorite one about Jones, my piano player that played with me all through the '90s and for years and years. His first road gig when he was 19 was with Jones. And that was when George was doing the no-show thing.
Yes.
And he wouldn't show
Awesome.
up. So there's this one show. So they were at a theater. One of those theaters had an entrance door on one side and an entrance door on the other side, and an alley and everything. So you could doors on both sides of the stage. Well, the promoter wouldn't pay George until he walked on stage. He says, "I'll give you a check when you walk on stage."
Yeah.
So the bus is up here. George comes in to get his guitar and everything on him. He tells Pee Wee to pull the bus around the other side. He walks on stage, the band's vamping. He takes a check, walks right across, waves at the crowd, gets in the bus, and leaves. Said they were pissed. They were throwing shit at him. They had to get a police escort to get him out of town.
Imagine being on the stage.
He said they thought they were going to kill him all.
Oh, my God.
And he got on the bus and left. Never sang a note. Waved at him when he went by. Isn't that awesome?
Oh my God!
Could you imagine you would get your calls from the office would be unbearable.
What
do you think you're doing?
What is everybody doing? Like playing the drums or some shit? Like what do we do now?
Yeah. Run!
Yeah,
Leave
just
your
drop the
instruments
sticks and
and run.
everything.
Oh my gosh! I love all those old stories.
Yeah.
Though. What's one? Have you heard any cool stories like that?
Did you ever watch that Tales of the Tour Bus?
Yes,
I have.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so good. I love that. Yeah, that was some good stuff. Who did that? Was that
Mike Judge?
Mike Judge? Yeah, King of the Hill.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
said
man.
the Johnny Paycheck when he shot the dude in the head.
Oh, dude.
I said, "Come on back now. I won't shoot you no more."
Yeah. That was a lot. What was it? He was trying to get him a turtle stew or turtle soup recipe or some shit.
Which shoot, man. Even in the '90s, man, I remember I had this big Indian bus driver. His name was Earl Clark, and Earl would be driving. We played poker all the time back in,
Yeah.
and Earl, everybody's just kind of hanging around. Guys that weren't playing cards, we'd all be gathered up at the booth, and we'd be on a straight stretch. And Earl would just get up, tilt the steering wheel back, just walk back here, and somebody'd have to jump up in there and get the steering wheel. He'd just get up and walk back. I remember one time my tour manager was sitting in the jump seat one morning, and some guy was jacking with the bus coming around him and everything. And Earl said, kick that door up. And he had a shotgun beside him. And he laid it across my tour manager's leg and shot at that car. He took the next off ramp and he was gone. You can't do that no more.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. What's the one where, was it Paycheck's guy that shot the bus driver's ear?
Oh, Paycheck was crazy.
Yeah, because he wanted to damn
The
cheeseburger.
cheeseburgers, yeah, man.
Paycheck was crazy.
Hell yeah.
That's wild, man.
I remember when Jones was one of the first people I knew that had the big satellite up on top. That's one of them yard satellites.
Yeah, big
and so you had to raise it up and you had to get a compass and shoot down the side of the bus and get all these mathematical equations to get it up. Well, his bus driver was Peanut. Well, George got off the stage and he's ready to go. I want to go. I got to put the satellite. I don't give a damn. I want to go now. Fine. Took off, hit it on an overpass and it's dangling beside the bus, just slapping on the side of the bus. Jones didn't care. He didn't give a shit.
Yeah, back in the
so
day,
his daddy worked for Loretta for a long time.
Oh, nice.
And I know you got some stories too.
Out there selling merch and for Loretta and Jones, then Vern Gosling for a little bit. Man, most of those stories I probably shouldn't say. Man,
They're old enough; they'll be all right.
There was one where so Loretta's son Ernie, he was out there working with Loretta, of course. So then my dad was best friends with Ernie, so they were the two that was just always in trouble. Well, so Ernie got the big idea to take Loretta's tour bus one time to the bar or casino or some shit somewhere. So they take off in this thing and they get hammered drunk. So then my dad has to drive the damn thing back. So then they get back and then Loretta's sitting out there waiting on them like, now what the hell are y'all doing?
She didn't say that.
And then yeah, true. Then Loretta Ernie looks at Loretta and says, well, Gar made me do it. As my dad. And she's like, what the, bunch of bullshit. Man, I've been wanting to ask you this. How do you feel about hot air balloons?
Oh man, damn hot air balloon. I'm still waiting on mine to be built, so with my name real big on it, so I can let it loose in Longview, Texas. No man, we had this one night we playing Longview, and it was this was I don't know when this was, probably 18 or 19. We had 17,000 people there. Massive crowd, and East Texas, that's my spot, man, and so I've been going to this damn music fest. It's like a balloon festival or whatever.
Is it at an airfield?
Yeah.
I've played.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
And so we get there, and they said that they told me not to cuss or whatever. They didn't say
I heard
shit.
they made you sign a contract or something.
They ain't make me sign shit. I ain't signed nothing. Anyway, so before, I guess they had told my tour manager, like, hey, make sure, it's a family event, whatever.
No songs about midgets or the F word.
Or the F word or whatever. But at the same time, there's 17,000 people drunk. They've been there all day. They're hammered drunk. So I go out there, I just put on a Koe show, And granted, I did have a little bit too much Jack Daniels that night. But I throw on a Koe show, and I'm cussing a little bit. And so we get off the stage. Show goes great. They come up. They're like, oh, thank y'all so much for being here. It was a great show. Can't wait to have y'all back. I was like, oh, absolutely. No problem. Well, next morning, I wake up, and my buddy's like, hey, did you see this where the festival had posted on Facebook? And I was like, what are you talking about? They said, we want to apologize for Koe Wetzel's show last night. We're sorry if it offended anyone. He will never perform here again. So I said, you know what, fuck that. Repost it, and above it put, thank you all to Longview, Texas for setting the highest attendance record ever at the Hot Air Balloon Festival in Longview, Texas. And then KLTV, the news station, and everybody else got a hold of it. It was a whole big ordeal. But they were like, we told him not to cuss. I was like, y'all ain't tell me shit. So we just put on a Koe show, and man, it was blown out of proportion. But I always said, I'm going to give me a big old hot air balloon says Koe fucking Wetzel on it, and I'm gonna plant it right there in the middle of it whenever they
Just
have their
put Johnny
next song.
Cash's picture on the
Yeah,
other
for
side.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But
Yeah, I think we live in such a PC world these days,
oh,
man. People
dude.
need to quit being so uptight about
Yeah,
things. I
well,
mean,
it's
come
just
on.
everybody's just so selfish.
You want
right
to
now,
give a
man.
smartphone to a 6-year-old where they can
Yeah.
find all the porn they want, but you
Yeah,
don't want to say the F
absolutely.
word in front of them? Come on.
Yeah, the ones that are getting on and commenting and being Karens and shit are the same ones that are cussing after Sunday service and shit on their kids, or
Absolutely.
you know what I mean. So
Yeah. Live and let live,
yeah,
baby.
it is what it is. Yeah.
And we're dealing with a lot of. I think it's about to cycle itself out, though.
Right.
I
Yeah.
do. I think people have had enough,
Yeah,
man.
for
Let's
sure.
just get back.
Well,
I don't care what you do, but don't tell me how to live my life either. Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, everybody's getting kind of fed up with it. You know, I think it's going to come back to, you know, America being America again, hopefully.
Harump.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about new music.
Yeah, so we got a new record coming out July 19. It's 13 songs.
You write them all?
I didn't. I had a bunch of co-writes, and then they've got 2 outside cuts. Reconsider by Keith Caddish. Remember Keith Caddish?
Oh yeah, I know Keith.
And
Well, I knew
yeah,
Keith.
knew Keith.
Yeah.
And then what was another one? Oh, Hatchet by Gabe Simon and Mick Guggen. Gabe Simon, I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Mm-mm.
He's the one that did. He produced the whole record, and yeah, we actually didn't plan on making a full record. We planned on it just being a songwriter weekend or whatever, and songs came out real easy, real fast, and so we were like, hell, let's do it again. We did it, and before we knew it, we looked up, we had 8 or 9 songs, cut a couple outside songs, and man, we had a full record, and it's a little bit less hard edged than my last records, but kind of shows a different side of who I am and kind of the direction that I'm going. Kind of hell being here in Nashville all the time now, you know. But
Yeah.
but like you said, just trying to get on the not trying to get on the radio, but giving stuff that radio can play a little bit more than just the old fashioned crazy Koe. But now that I'm older and looking back on it, it's kind of I don't know. It's a different look into how you perceive me and my music. You know, it's not just about the party and everything anymore.
Well,
It's,
and as you get older too, you find that you want to balance yourself out, not only for yourself, but the way people perceive you.
Exactly.
And the more music you cut, the next album you want to go, I want to cut some stuff that I've never done, and maybe I want to pull from this old influences.
Absolutely.
It's all about continuing to grow and evolve, and you can't be doing the same song over and over with the different words in it. I mean, you got to grow.
And you're always gonna have those fans and those people that are like, oh, we miss the old Koe or the old, you know, we miss whenever you used to do this. But I'm like, well, how the fuck do you expect anybody to grow or an artist to grow if you're playing?
And
the
you've
same
already
shit
got
all
that
the
album.
time?
Just keep playing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, play that one over and over. Actually, go buy it a couple more times.
Yeah.
But no, it's just saying I want to look back, you know, and 10, 15 years and go, you know, I did everything the way I wanted to. And my catalog shows that, you know, there were different sides and as many different genres of music that I listen to. That's kind of how I want to be, I want my music to be, you know, still have that Koe feel to it. And when somebody listens to it, go, hey, that's Koe Wetzel. But at the same time, be like, you know, he tried something different and it worked, you know. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. We still got all those other songs that people did like, you know.
Do you strategize with your camp about just what the next 3 years or 5 years are going to be? About, you know, do we need to stay out of this market? I had a really good show here. We need to come back in this with a different package next time. Are you collaborating about all that stuff?
No, not really, man. We just I'm here to play music. I'm getting in the studio. I'm not thinking about, you know, where I want to go with the next record, man. I'm getting in the studio and just pretty much where I'm at that point in my life is where the music is and how the music's going to come out. So that's pretty much how it's been from the get-go. And this record's no different. It's just, like I said, I'm getting older, and it's kind of that direction that I'm kind of headed towards. So
What do you think about what's on the radio now?
Man,
there's a lot of good stuff.
Well, it's just I think that the genre of what country music and this genre is so broad right now. It's so big
Yeah.
that I don't think you can listen to a song and be like, oh, that's a radio song, or because there's so many different genres that are in country right now.
And with that being said, I really wish they would expand the format a little bit and go from
Yeah.
like a 17, 18 song current
Yeah,
playlist
absolutely.
back to a 22 to a 25
For sure.
song playlist. You know, you need to have more variety. I mean, there's just too few songs on
Yeah.
there. And it bothers me because I never remember hearing this in the 90s and the 2000s, where, I mean, you might be listening to a radio station and they might play 2 or 3 Morgan Wallen songs back to back,
Yeah.
or Luke Combs songs. I don't remember ever doing that. That
Yeah.
means they got room to add more new
For
songs.
sure.
They got more
For
room.
sure.
So it kind of bothers me, and it would broaden it up because you've got a lot of really talented acts out there that deserve some chart space.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, it's just the way country music is. I mean, you got indie country, bluegrass country, you got
Rap
Texas
country.
rap country, Texas rock country. You got, I mean, there's just so many ways that you could go about it. I feel like it should be kind of all thrown into one, instead of just kind of one radio
Or split the format.
or split it, yeah.
Yeah.
Or call it something different, I mean,
We've talked about that for years. I don't think that'll ever happen.
No,
man.
it won't.
It won't.
It won't, but-
they've got too big of a handle on the market.
But going back to that's what the social media and everything else is for. Spotify, you got Spotify and Apple, and just not as many people are listening to the radio now as they used to.
Amen.
Because they have all these places to go find their music. TikTok's making artists more famous now than the radio feel like ever did. And it's
Absolutely.
just overnight.
I mean, just exploded.
Yeah.
How do you find new music? I mean, where do you find it?
Mainly. Honestly, just from people either sending it to me, or
I mean, as far as stuff you listen to on the radio or find on do you look on Spotify?
Yeah,
Or do you listen to outside stuff? I mean, just
not
for
really.
enjoyment.
Yeah, I'm just usually it's from being at a party or hanging out with somebody and just overhearing it and going through there, or scrolling through Instagram and hearing a song and going and deep diving into it like that. But I get recommended stuff on like Apple and Spotify, so
Yeah.
I'll be listening to an artist that I really like, and I'll go down to the recommended and then jump on somebody that I haven't heard before. So.
Yeah, man, I live in such a well, man. I don't listen to a lot of radio anymore. I listen to a lot more podcasts. But I stumbled across Teddy Swims the other day. I'm like, holy
my
crap!
God,
how did I not know about this
He
guy?
is insane.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
He blew me the frick
He is
away, dude. It's like
insane, man.
this guy. What a set of
He's a
pipes.
great dude too. I got to meet him one night. We were at the Red Door.
Does he hang out here in Nashville?
Yeah, every now and then I think I've met him a couple of times here, but first time I met him, we were at Red Door, and he's a sweet dude, man. And then you go and listen to his music. There's no way that's coming out of that dude.
But it is,
and it blows your mind, bro. He's
just unbelievable.
phenomenal.
And there's a lot of really good talent out there these days.
Yeah.
It's so, but that being said, with so much competition on social media and on streaming platforms, how do you stay forefront, man?
Yeah. I think nowadays it's just make as much music as possible and put it out. Like, I mean, that's all you can do, right? I mean,
are you cutting every month, every 2 or 3 months?
No, not really. We're doing a lot of demos. We've got like I was telling you, we got the deal on the bus that we'll be cutting. So we're always steadily writing and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
with the records and stuff, I've never been an EP guy. Like, I've never wanted to put out 3 or 4 songs at a time. I've always been a whole album guy.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, sharing stuff like with the TikTok that we were talking about, people will just upload. I mean, you can upload a song in 24 hours or less and throw it out there, and it can go viral even quicker than that on TikTok,
Yeah.
So having those kind of outlets and those places for people to find music is just changing everything that we know about, streaming and finding new music and new artists,
It's pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff about the day and age
Yeah.
that we live in, but it still can get a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just very,
sure.
but it's so cool when you stumble across something. It's like, damn it, that's good.
I know.
Because it's still out there, man.
I still feel myself kind of like old school, like I don't want to do the whole TikTok thing. That's why I have somebody else do it for me and stuff. But I'm still all for the finding on your own and beating down the road and the old school way of doing it. And that might be hard-headed or simple-minded of me, but it's just how I
No.
feel on it. And
But I
know,
think it's about true artists wanting to get back to being true artists.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I missed, the era that I missed out on, was the album era.
Yeah.
Being able to put it album packaging
Yeah,
with
for
artwork
sure.
and all that stuff. I mean, we missed all that. I didn't get a chance to do those things. Even by the time it got to me when we were doing CDs, you didn't have that big canvas to work
Yeah.
with. I mean, that was a big part of it back then.
Yeah.
Never got a chance to do that. Maybe we'll get a chance to do it down the road someplace. Have you done any stuff in vinyl yet?
We did our last record we started, and then we it hadn't released yet, but it's on sale right now. So we'll send you a couple. We'll send you a little care
Yeah,
pack.
man.
I'll send you a bottle of bourbon or something.
I like that.
Yeah, for sure,
man.
brother.
I sure
Awesome,
appreciate
man.
your time. I know you're heading out on the road. You're getting ready to
Yeah.
leave tonight.
Yeah, we're about to hop on a plane, get back, and then have a couple of days off, and then hit it again, man.
You need a couple of days off.
I need a couple of days. It's too hot to golf, and
Too hot to fish.
and it's way too cold at home. So I'll probably just be laid up and I don't know, find something to do in the yard or something. But
I appreciate it, man.
man. Thank you
Good
for
to get
having
to
me.
know you, man.
Yes,
Thank you
sir,
so
you
much for
too,
giving me
man.
a little time, brother.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Koe Wetzel.
Thank you.